Hey, what is up? Let me just make sure my all the settings are right. Yesterday was sort of a shit show. I appreciate the feedback. Yes, and yes. Okay. Should be better sound today than yesterday. Sorry about that. Just confirm. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So, exploring allowance. So the first few days of the week, we were looking at awareness, and like I said, I'm committed that there is a path to gratitude. Uh, that's reliable that you can create. You know, look, gratitude descends upon us from time to time. No problem. You don't have to do anything about it. But if we're going to live a grateful life in the midst of our fucked up world, it'd be nice to have a path that we could carve out where we could experience gratitude whenever we wanted. And again, it's my commitment that it ain't through writing down in a journal and faking it till you make it. Kind of, if I say it often enough, it'll come true. I just think that's icing on mud. It produces toxic positivity and it is not particularly useful. And creating gratitude on demand isn't that complicated and it doesn't take a long time, but there are distinct spaces of it. And first is awareness. So you first take the time to practice becoming aware of what's happening, and then allowance. There's a space of allowing what's happening to be the way it is. That you become aware of it, and then you create the experience of just noticing it, of allowing it to be, observing it, separating yourself from it. So we're going to explore that. We're going to explore some allowance, and we'll do it for a couple of days. We'll do a different cuts at it. Um, so let's look at allowance, and we'll just yeah. So that's where we're going to start. All right. So if you're ready, you can close the eyes if that feels safe where you are, and sense into the body, feel your feet connect to the ground, your butt in the chair, wiggle the neck, roll the neck, loosen up, finding a posture that's alert and awake but not stiff. And just breathing. Noticing the breath, the rhythm of the breath, sensing the body as it expands with air, what it feels like to hold it, and then what it feels like when you relax. And you might practice the labeling meditation that we did a few days ago, where you're just thinking, this is what it feels like to breathe without labeling. Mm. If the mind wanders, you just come back to the breath. And that's the first thing we're going to practice, allowing. Just allowing our mind to wander and come back. You don't have to do anything to get it to wander. It wanders by itself. The allowance is you noticing it and without judgment. It's a particular kind of self-compassion. Non-judgmental self-compassion, all qualities of allowance in this case. And you're just going to explore where that's present and where that's missing as you focus on the breath. Then the mind wanders. And then you practice allowance. And by bringing the attention and awareness back to the breath with no judgment, you can begin to distinguish the difference between allowance, its submission, or allowance and resignation, allowance and giving up. You're going to bring the awareness back to the breath. You're just allowing for the imperfection, allowing for the distraction, allowing for the mind to wander without judgment. sometimes helps rather than thinking about returning the awareness to the breath, to when the mind wanders, you simply start again. So you're not bringing something back. If that seems like fixing something or changing something, then you can notice the mind wanders and simply start newly. Allowance is a lot like grace. Whenever you're ready, you can take a few more breaths. Come on back and open the eyes. Yeah, nice. It's beginning to explore allowance as an experience, moving from concept, which I think we all know what it is to allow. We know it intellectually, but until you begin to experience what that feels like, you can't really see the gap between you and experience allowance, right? Like that thing with self-compassion is we're going to go work on that tomorrow. That's going to be the thrust for tomorrow, because that's one of the hardest things for people to get is give ourselves space and grace, and that's the heart of allowance. So this is just the beginning of a conversation, and we'll keep it going. And obviously, the opportunity is multiple times today. Practice allowing things to be exactly as they are. Notice things the way they are and allow them to be that way before you do anything else. Just allow them to be that way and see what opens up. And tomorrow, you'll see